Okay, today we're doing activity 2. It is the next page and it looks like this. Notice it has the V shape in the middle of the page. And the question is, what type of object, when inserted into a loop, will allow the two test bulbs to light? So we have predictions over here again, and then I'm going to complete these, and then you're going to write in the observations, okay? So up here's my diagram. So here we go. Here's my 3 batteries, my wire to my first bulb coming around here. These two, I'm going to open the loop now. Open, they don't light. I'm going to redo that, close that, touch it, where they both lit again. So I'm going to open this up, and now I'm going to insert different objects in this open space right here. But I want you to take a minute and pause the video and make your predictions right here. Yes or no? Will the bulb light when I put a piece of foil in this spot right here? So pause the video, take a minute. So I'm going to take my paper down here and I'm going to insert these different things into the circuit. So the first one is a piece of aluminum foil. So I'm going to connect it to this wire. There's little clamps on this so that I can clamp it. And then I'm just going to connect it to that. We can see that, yes, they do light. So the second one, piece of cardboard. Clamp it here, clamp it here. The next one, a paper clip. The next one, a shoestring, or another type of string. The third one, some pencil lead. This is pencil lead, which is mechanical pencil lead. I might not be doing this in the exact order on the sheet. The next one I'm going to do is wax paper. The next one I'm going to do is, it's a glass dropper. Next one I'm going to do is a washer. And the last one I'm going to do is called a pipe cleaner. So it's got some fuzzy stuff on the outside. So that concludes the experiment part for activity 2. So we're going to come up here and draw some conclusions. So it looks like for conclusions, we notice some substances did let the bulbs light, and some substance did not let the bulbs light. I want you to come up with a conclusion. What do you think causes some substances to allow the bulbs to light, and what causes some substance not to allow the bulbs to light? So on our sheet, I'm going to go over some new terms here. The first term is called a conductor. Conductor is going to be a substance that does allow things to light. So these are conductors. They are usually metals. So we're saying most of the time they're made out of a metal, but there's some that aren't metals that will conduct. And an example would have been pencil lead is not made out of a metal. It's made out of a non-metal, and it does allow things to light. And so in other words, this allows the light bulbs to light. Okay, usually they are metals, but there's some things that aren't metals that allow it. The opposite of that is what we call an insulator. These do not allow light bulbs to light. These are usually non-metals. So some of the non-metals that I used were like glass. Glass is made out of non-metals, okay? Another one would have been paper. Paper is made out of non-metals, okay? Now, another thing that I wanted to show you on the pipe cleaner, this pipe cleaner, it's kind of fuzzy like a fabric. Fabric would be made out of non-metals, but deep inside of it, you can bend these. There's wire in there. So you could see when I was lighting that on there, there were times when it was kind of flickering on and off. And the reason is because I have to make sure that I get this little bit of the wire to come into contact with my alligator clips. We call these alligator clips that we attach with, because if you look at that, it opens up kind of like an alligator mouth. So when we grab and onto here, it will grab and it will form a secure touch with whatever we're trying to touch. So one other thing I wanted to say is that a closed loop needs to be made out of non-metals to conduct electricity. So a closed loop must be made out of from conductors. Okay, so it must be made mainly from metals. Usually it's metals. Okay, so if you look at this right here is metal. It's probably an iron, and then there would be metal inside this wire here, but it's insulated on the outside to protect it. Okay, so that would be some of the basic parts that we need to look at. Also, on these sockets, so the socket is this piece, and the light bulb screws in here, so I can take the light bulb out. You see all the metal components to it, so the light bulb touches this metal piece, then it touches these metal pieces, and then this is where I hooked up these alligator clips. Okay, so this is what we're just looking at, is how do these things function together, and then this light bulb has to be screwed, and it has to be touching down on the bottom here in order to light. If you have that just screwed in there or just setting on top there and there's a space in there, this would not light. Okay, because that would be an open loop, and we have to have a closed loop. So if I can just get this to sit in there like that, it doesn't want to stay in place for me like that. So you can see there's an open space in there. Okay, it isn't touching the bottom piece of the metal. It would not light. So you have to make sure that they're touching on the bottom. We need that closed loop. So this should be conclusion for activity 2.